abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Yeah, when he was young, 35 years old, Dante was wandering, hungry and cold, all alone and filled with terror, stumbling through the dark woods of error. He had strayed far up the path full of sorrow and wrath, but ahead he beheld a heavenly light, so he started toward it, striving for right. But just when it seemed like there might be some hope, Dante was pushed back down the slope by a leopard and a lion and a she-wolf so bad, all wishing death and snarling mad. Virgil the poet appeared as a ghost, and with a wave of his hand, those monsters would toast. Come with me, he said, and you will see heaven, hell, and purgatory. First up on the trip were the gates of hell, and on the other side, the opportunists dwell. They're all chasing a flag, causing life before they died. They all ran around and just couldn't pick a side. Next on the tour after those who run were the virtuous pagans hanging out in circle one. Homer, Ovid, Luke, and Horace just sit and mope, causing life before they died. They simply had no hope. Then in circle two beyond crabby old Minos is a cliff with a storm, and Francesca and Paolo joined all the killers and the cheaters and lies by both giving in to the storm of their desires. Next are the gluttons hanging out in circle three, who ate garbage in life and eat it now eternally. Watching over all the fatties is a three-headed dog. Goodbye, let's start his friend, Siaco the Hawk. Dante pities his friend sitting in the stinking rain, who might be eaten by Cerberus, man, that'd be painful. Soon enough they're moving on to circle four, where there's people pulling weights all over the floor. Yo, these are the hoarders and the wasters of stuff. They wanted everything, but it just wasn't enough. In life they killed the light of God within, hoarding and wasting and living in sin. After seeing the rates and hauling all their weights, Virgil speaks of Dame Fortune and her heavenly traits. After looking at this level of the fate of mankind, the poets leave the damned and the nasty Plutus behind. The capital of hell is decent, circle 5, reserved for those who were filled with wrath and alive. It doesn't matter if he's your father, cousin, brother, every year must destroy each other. When some wicked nasty furies call upon the Medusa, Virgil covers Dante's eyes to guard against the seducer. The fallen angels at the gates will snap for no tricks, so the poets call a messenger to open level 6. With the help of the two, the gate pop with a click, and the poets walked in among the heretics. Because the souls refused to be saved, they eternally burn in an eternal grave. Cavalcanti rises burning out of its tomb, asking Dante to shed some light on his doom. Any news of my son? Asked the man burning bright, but sadly Dante answered he had strayed from the light. Next was the Minotaur guard in circle 7, with rounds 1, 2, and 3 sitting far from heaven. Round 1 holds the violent against their neighbors. Hey, guess what? I can't think of anything that rhymes with neighbors. All the damn boil in a bloody river, but if they raise a head above, the centaurs empty their quivers. 2 of the centaurs are named Narcissus and Chiron, watching over Peter the Great and Attila the Hun. Round 2 is packed full of the suicides, who all look like trees but are people inside. But the only way to break the souls out of the trance is to reach out your hand and just break off a branch. All the harpies and the hounds are running around, and the air is split by sad groaning sounds. Here Pierre Del Vigne is locked up alone, and a bush is trapped, another name unknown. Round 3 holds a violent against God's self and nature. Capinius, Latino, but hey, we'll catch up to them later. Some are crouching, some are laying, some are running around. What is that? Can you hear it? Say, what's that sound? It's the sound of the rapid running river of blood, growing from the old man of Crete like a flood. It splashes down to circle 8 at the bottom of the cavern, so they throw a cord to Gurion, half man, half dragon. Yo, the beast flies in a spiral right down to circle 8, where the simple frauds go when it's just too late. M-A-L-E-B-O-L-G-E, that's demon language for circle 8, you see. Then there's 10 bulges, which are really big ditches, all of which are bridged by 10 big bridges. Panderers and seducers are punished in the first one, walking at a fast pace but not quite a run. A gang of horned demons watches over the crowd, lashing out at the damned if they get too loud. These guys are suffering in eternal pain, who took advantage of the others for their own self-gain. Bulger 2 holds those guilty of flattery, who in life when they flatter just couldn't foresee the punishment of soaking in eternal soup, which just so happens to be made of poop. Bulger 3 is for those whose soul got out, upside down in a font with their feet sticking out. Just as the souls are burned for deceit, here the flames live upon the soles of the feet. Dante decides to chew out a pope, showing no mercy cause he's got no hope. Dante says that the punishments are a real good thing, a statement which makes Virgil want to break out and sing. The 4th Bulger holds fortune tellers and diviners, those who try to see the future but were really just whiners. Since these souls in life were always looking forwards, So in hell they walk with heads on backwards as they all walk along on the eternal track. Their tears trickle down into their butt crack. Dante feels pity for the damned below, but Virgil simply tells him that he should not be so. All the sinners hanging out in Boja 5 are those who were grafters when they were alive. But if the damned dare to rise above the pitch for a look, a demon smacks him in the face with a grapple and a hook. After Virgil strikes a deal for passage along the ridge, a group of demons show the way to the bridge, but the demons soon fall for some distractions and tricks, and the sneaky poets run off to Boja 6. Boja 6 holds the hypocrites wearing robes made of lead, cause when they were alive they didn't do what they said. The worst of all is Caiaphas, crucified to the ground, all the others walking over him round and round. Circle 7 holds Barocho, Cacus, Angel, and Fuji. Blasphemy, simony, stealing from the sacristy. The wrathful sinners are here far below the gates, wrapped up, turned to ash, and transformed into snakes. The counselors of evil burn in Boja 8, Montefeltro, Romanga, and Pope Boniface. The damned all hid from view by tongues of fire, but don't let it fool you, the crimes are dire. Boja 9 holds all the souls of discord, who all become unseen with the flick of a sword. It's been many years, but it's time that they start thinking about how they tore others apart. For politics, they cut out your tongue and your hands, and for that, against kinsmen, you get your head in your hands. Boja 10 has the alchemist covered in scabs, and a dude who punches Adam, who just punches him back. Adam can't move and is forever thirsting, but don't cry yet, because that ain't the worst thing. 2 evil impersonators come running through, tearing everyone up, not knowing who's who, because in life they seized upon the appearances of others. They now run around tearing up their brothers. Next up is the central pit of Mayo Bulge, where all of the giants are 5 million year olds. The big guys aren't here due to the sin of their size, but because they helped build Babel when they were alive. Circle 9, the first round is called Cana. This little round is full of all the haters who are guilty of treachery against their kin, with the necks above the ice but the rest within. Circle 9, round 2 is called Antenora. Here are punished all of those who in the life before were guilty of treachery to their very own country and can't even move the necks, which just ain't funny. Round 3 is called Ptolemy. Section for guest host treachery. All of the tears freeze up into their eyes, creating lovely icicle scenery. Judecca is the name of round 4. Treachery against masters is what they're in for, and all because they just weren't nice. All of their bodies are engulfed in ice, and when we come to the very last, those who are treacherous against the masters, Brutus and Julius and Cassius scream as the 3-headed Satan chews them all into steam. The devil is a shaggy and a monstrous thing, and creates icy wind with his monstrous wings. The poets climb his legs at the end of the story, ready to move on to the Mount of Purgatory. Leaving behind all the death and depravity, the poets enter the center of gravity. And despite all the sorrow and painful exploring, they look up and see the stars.